Hello and welcome to the Journey of Possibility BeCollaborations podcast with myself, Jill Tiney, Erkan Ali, co-founder and creator, and Giles Shorter, one of our newest members.
Yes, hello.
So got fresh meat.
Fresh meat. That was straight in there. I want to welcome you, Giles. I'll tell you what, I've really enjoyed, from the minute we've met, I've enjoyed every encounter. And so today we're going to really talk about what this community represents, how opportunities in life turn up, and if you take them by the horns, or wherever else you want to grab it. all sorts of amazing things happen. So before we go too far, obviously people out there know who Jill and I are. Do you want to just kind of just a bit about you and a bit of background, so we kind of get a sense of who you are?
Okay.
Looking very smart.
Well, thank you very much. My name's Giles Shorter. I am 36. I've got a new baby boy, 7 months old. I moved to Hertford about 4 months ago from Maida Vale in London, and I'm an architect. I've been working for other people for a number of years, and about a year ago I decided to set up my own practice.
Fantastic.
And it's been fabulous moving to Hertford, not least because I've met these two and everyone else at BeColl. And I'm just excited about where it's all going to take me, really.
Great. Well, before we get further to where it will take you, let's get a picture of. One of the things that we want this podcast to represent is the journey that people, and this journey of possibility of what's possible. So if you're out there in a job, or you're working for another organisation, and you've got those frustrations, like I imagine many people will have, but at some point you say, right, I'm going to take my life in my own hands, and I don't know how much the move was part of that. I mean, you can probably elaborate, but there was it probably didn't happen overnight. I imagine it kind of built up and built. So what is it like when you're working? I imagine you love the work, but then if you're working for a firm that probably, and I'm not knocking out the firm or anything like that, but there must be times when you kind of see things a different way, or what are the frustrations that you found to get you to a point where you're going to go, you know what, I'm going to go it alone?
Well, I went it alone a number of years ago when I was at university, and what I found was that by doing my own projects and trying to create opportunities for myself, I could take on small projects, not large architectural projects, but small projects whilst at university, and that could help fund things. So I took that, and when I moved down to Tunbridge Wells, I did the same thing, and it gave me a sense of what opportunities can arise when you are responsible for your own destiny. And I very much enjoyed that. But then when I moved to London, it was a big city, and I felt that it was going to be...
See, as an architect, that's good to know you noticed that. See, he's really good at what he does. Lots of big buildings. But it is a big city. Imagine it changes. The lay of the land is different in a big... challenges, opportunities are very different.
Completely, and the people that I wanted to mix with were very different as well. So, I mean, down in Tunbridge Wells, it was a smaller sort of community. It was a little bit like Hertford. But in London, I needed to build a bigger network, and so I started working for other people in London to build that network, to build my confidence in a different world.
I was just going to say, working with other people like that, working for someone else, did it feel safe? Did it feel like, I'm okay, I've got my kind of comfort zone going on?
It did. It did. However, and I've got to caveat it with, my dad's had his own business all of his life, and one thing he always told me is you're never safer than when you work for yourself. And actually that was proven. In London, I was made redundant from one job simply because there wasn't enough work, or the company wasn't seeking the right kind of work that was making use of my skills. So I had to then change tack and look for something else.
But so kind of this it kind of goes, it flows. But the idea of getting a job, one would think there would be security in that. Quite often, leaving a job that we've had many collaborators who come back from a corporate background, or have worked for companies and then wanted to be autonomous, wanted to explore their talents, wanted to develop their own sense of value, or doing things in a way that's in their reflection for them. So from what I can understand, is a certain level of institutionalising yourself when you go and work in organisations. But your dad's saying you're never as safe as you were when you. That's the sort of thing my dad would say. Because in one way, your life is in your hands. You get to make the decisions. You get to choose. You're at the forefront of steering your boat. But that doesn't necessarily save you from the peril of being out on your own. So that was it a jump, or was it kind of an eased out of one to the other? How did it kind of?
Well, you talk about the corporate world, and for whatever reason, I suppose possibly because I started off in a town rather than a big city, I've always sought out smaller companies to work for. So there was always this feeling of a sort of a family unit and the comfort that comes with it. Whereas, but you don't get as much safety in that because you lose a big job or something goes wrong and suddenly there's
smaller boat,
field
waves.
Yeah, exactly. So and the biggest company I've worked for was I suppose it was 100 people strong, but that was on a temporary measure, and it was whilst I actually had my own business as well. So I suppose I've never really engaged fully with the corporate world, so I don't know the safety that might come with the perceived safety, exactly. And I suppose the perceived benefits of a really good package and all the rest of it. All the practices I've worked for have been small enough for me to have to carve out my own path within each of those companies, and that was certainly the case in London.
So let's fast forward a bit. So obviously I can kind of hear that you hedged your bets a bit, didn't you? You had a foot in that camp, you had a foot doing your own thing, bigger companies, smaller companies.
In the back of your mind is this kind of your dad's voice going, it's your destiny.
Yes.
Get your own business. It's kind of, did you feel that was the way your path was going? It's like, I'll learn as much as I can from you, and I'll learn as much as I can from you, but actually,
exactly,
I'm going to go that way.
Exactly, and that's how I would pitch it when I went for a new job. I remember going for one down in Putney, and that's how I pitched it to them. I can steer a part of or a department of this company in this direction using my specialist skills. And over the last 5 years, I've had both my brothers, both younger brothers. Alexander became a plumber and is now very successful down in Tunbridge Wells. And my other brother, yes, a good plumber.
What's his call out? What's his call out? Change the heart. How much?
I've already asked him how much.
No mate rates.
No chance. And then my other brother set up a business quite recently in upholstery and furniture design and furniture restoration. So it really is the path. There's no other.
So that entrepreneurial.
In the blood.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you turned up in Hertford.
Yes.
Not long ago.
Yeah.
Bought a house.
Yes.
Project, nice. And then that chance meeting. So there's you trying to get your baby and buggy through the doors of a pub, and I'm there.
I'm trying to teach him where to have a pint at the very early age. He's like 4 months old.
Yeah.
Bless him. You want to have a drink? Come on, I'm going to get this buggy in here.
I mean, so you walk through the door. Some guy in the pub opens the door and welcomes you in, helps you in.
Did you help me? No, I seem to remember you opened the door.
I just held the door. I was being quite entertained by watching you.
That's it.
I think I was already a couple of pints in by then, so it's kind of watching this guy struggling.
Now we get the true story.
But I think what happened, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I kind of said, hi, I'm Erkan, I introduced myself.
Yes.
And then you said, hi, I'm Giles, and something about I've just moved into the area.
Yeah, 2 days I think.
I said, welcome to Hertford.
Yeah.
And my joke with you was, well, you've just met the best person in Hertford. Lucky, 2 days in, right?
Not me, obviously.
No, second person. And then I remember buying you a pint and welcoming you, and then obviously when you buy someone a pint, they feel obliged to at least be polite for 5 minutes before they run away.
Please come and talk to me.
So if you're ever wondering about how to close the deal, buy a pint and get people for 5 minutes. There's always this thing about get someone a hot drink because they can't drink it faster.
Did you know that?
Get a hot beverage, and they're stuck with you for 10 minutes, But you had this conversation. I think I said something about, you've just come into the area. Obviously, Hertford's a small town. It's not a big town, and I've been part of Hertford since '95. And I think I love it when people come to Hertford or move into Hertford or appreciate it, because I think it's a lovely town. But that aside, I mentioned to you BeCollaboration. We run a monthly members organisation. And at that point, I mean, how did that land for you at that time?
Well, I can't quite remember the exact words you used, but it must have struck a chord immediately, because within 3 or 4 minutes of you telling me that and walking away with the lovely pint that you got me, Muller's. It
was an IPA, right?
I was online and booked in the meeting.
Yeah, because I saw it come through and I went, bloody, that's key. We used to do this.
You were still in the pub.
So that's what I do, is just go and buy people pints in Hartford. Yeah, and I saw it come through, and then the funny thing was, Gill sent me an email. She goes, I can't wait till Gill, Tiney and Giles Shorter. And I was brilliant. And I think literally off the back of that, I introduced you to a local Tarek who runs Able of Hartford Estates.
Yes.
And suddenly you were, boom, in.
Yeah.
And what I really loved is not only did you do that, but you actually turned up to the meeting.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is great. So when you first turned up, there's meetings at Lock Fine, it's upstairs, it's probably not a conventional place to have meetings. I don't know, above restaurants, I suppose it might be. But you've turned up, and then obviously our format for introducing people to the community is a 45-minute odd introduction with Q&A and a little bit of engagement at the end. How did that first introduction kind of...
Well, I remember you started the video that you had there, and the start one of the things in the first conversations that were had there was about synchronicity and about making your own opportunities and creating your own luck effectively, and how that might come about. And synchronicity was something that I've always been very interested in from an architectural point of view, as well as sort of universality and patterns and sacred geometries, and that video touched on all of those things. Didn't mention Fibonacci sequence, but it did have a butterfly.
It kind of had
that kind of esoteric kind of feel.
So that video is the what's his name, Lipton.
Bruce Lipton.
Bruce.
Imaginal cells. Is that
Imaginal cells. Yeah. So if you look up Imaginal cells. And it depicts the story of the breakdown of the caterpillar to create a new system called the butterfly.
Yes.
And if you look around ourselves now as society, we're seeing a breakdown in the, I suppose you could call it the globalist, capitalist kind of, fiat money currency system is breaking down. All big debts, wars, and all these things that are going on. I'm not going off in that path. I usually do, but I'm not right now. And then there was this opportunity of being part of the butterfly. Within that system, there are those that said, "Hey, no, this is normal. It's got to break down to break through, and there's a new horizon. There's a new consciousness coming in." And that's really where we position ourselves in being, creating a community. And going to the synchronicity bit is actually when you're being that, you attract people that kind of go, oh, it's so different about that conversation with that person, and obviously that kind of struck you in the first meeting. At what point did you realise this is for me?
It was definitely before you maybe stand up and say whether I wanted to come along. When you put me on the spot. No, I think I saw the opportunities very early on. I think it was probably from that very first meeting.
Really?
You bought me the pie. We didn't even talk. But there was just something, I think, about the idea that I could feel a part of something bigger, and I was in the right place. You made me feel like I was in the right place, and I think that's what it was. It was a feeling right from that moment. That's why I turned up to the meeting, and that's why I'm here today.
Because you'd come to a new town, you had a new project, you had a new baby, it was your mindset was opportunity.
Completely. I think I was very, very open.
Yeah.
I think when I worked for other people, I think it's so easy to become more and more closed because you feel more and more protected, and you don't need to worry about the next job because you're expecting your boss to create that next project or that next job for you. But if you're doing it for yourself, you've got to be open. You've got to be, and you made me feel like being open was the right thing to do, and I enjoy feeling open.
So after that introduction, you kind of knew very early on that this is something I want to be part of. Because one of the things that we're really mindful of, and going back to this idea of synchronicity or self-actualising, is actually that people choose to be part of what we're doing. We don't really want to say, do you want to join? Do you want to be part of it? Do you want to join? Do you want to join? We don't want to do any of that. We just want to be, it's a matter of interest and to kind of get a gauge of where people are at. We do want to say, so is this for you or not?
Yes.
But we don't want to ask you, we don't want to be going, do you want to join? As in, come join. It's, is this for you?
Yes.
And if it's for you, like without any questions that need answering, great. And if it isn't, we can answer those questions. And if it isn't, then that's great. Thanks for coming, come back again.
I think that's interesting where a lot of people within BeCollaboration kind of look at their contacts and they go, well, I don't think they would like BeCollaboration very much, or they wouldn't understand BeCollaboration. I don't think they'd get it. And actually, this is a nice little group that I'm hold of. And I was like, well, if you enjoy it, and you can't necessarily put your finger on why you enjoy it, but you're having fun here, then it's up to everybody to invite somebody else along to the meetings, because we don't know what's going on in their heads, and we don't know whether it's right for them, and that's why we say, well, you choose. So we can't sell to anybody, we can't twist their arm, or because if it's not right, it's not right.
Well, how do you talk someone into being part of a community? I think it's got to be self-selection, isn't it? It's got to be like,
a lot of it's timing, isn't it? Some people are ready now, some people go, what, you know, they potter off and they come back 6 months later because they see it as an opportunity, but it's like, well, my life is, hang on, and I'll get back to you. And we still keep in touch, and then they come back and they go, right, now's the time, and they do it. And I don't think we can ever understand when it's right for someone. You can't look at someone and go, do you know what, BeCollaboration, they should do it.
And also, in this case, there was nothing predicating whether this was right for Giles other than an invitation.
You had no idea. He
So
could have been a last, you know,
Well, he might.
Killer or
We don't know that.
Well,
So,
yeah.
you know, it could be. So you came to the meeting, and then obviously, what, you know, the way the meeting happens, we do the introduction, we have a little chance to let people settle in, and then we say, stay on for the main meeting, see what goes on. We're giving you an insight into what actually goes on in a meeting, and within that meeting, I can't remember what happened.
It was Janine and.
that was good.
That was
well, we could have.
picked a better one.
That's that synchronicity again,
Yes,
isn't it?
Yeah. So Janine and Debs
that's
run a
it,
company
yes.
called Ashwell Timber, and they recycle,
Reclaim.
reclaim
wood.
wood,
Hardwood.
but hardwood,
Tropical.
proper tropical.
Yeah,
wood.
300-400-year-old
Yeah.
bits of wood that have been used in this country, and then they reuse it in ingenious, or they rely on other people to come up with the ingenuity, but they store it and prepare it and.
Yeah, because sometimes people ask me, so what kind of members you got? Are they all coaches? I went, actually, there's less coaches. There was one at the beginning,
there was
but I think now slowly, everything from wood people to architects to
nurses
surveyors,
to people in between businesses, people that are
coaches.
employed,
Yes.
sleep coaches, yes.
Which coaches?
Sleep coaches.
baby sleep
Oh
coaches.
yes.
Another good contact.
What's the other one? Who's Claudia? How would you?
Well,
describe Claudia's profession?
Claudia Agar, she runs a Agar. It's Agar in Turkish or Arabic.
She told me, and
Yeah, she
her
says
name.
Agar because it's
So-
she says it because of the ovens.
That's how it right, yeah.
But yeah, so Agar. Claudia
Sorry
Agar.
if she's not
Claudia-
Turkish, she's Iranian.
She's Lebanese, isn't she?
We'll have to ask her.
Take a leaf
Sorry,
of beige,
Claudia,
it
we
doesn't
can't
matter.
remember.
Was that Tunisia? That's not a country. That's a
Summer's resort.
Summer's
Holiday
resort.
resort.
We can't repeat that.
We'll go. So Claudia,
Yes.
she basically supplies spas. Supplies spas with treatments and
Exclusive
Okay.
brands.
and
Yes.
also actually treatments.
Does the
But
treatment?
also she's also been involved in pranic healing. She's
That's
done
it.
pranic healing.
And that was so interesting to talk to her about. I mean, it's those, it's the
the
range
original
of people.
wonderful.
Yeah, exactly.
Now Claudia's
Very interesting.
also done genius slots, known be known slots, and I think I've personally seen her develop and grow. And I coached her for a while. Well, that's how we met. But one of the things that I always encouraged is for her to kind of come and be at the forefront and let the world know who you are rather than hiding out. We've got this lovely little joke that we kind of talk about. It's like she came to a meeting once and said, "Guys, you're both nuts out, aren't you? There's nothing left in reserve." And I said to her, "Yeah, because I think I've toned down a bit in front of the room. But I used to be a lot more. I think a lot more really out there, and I think." I said to her, I've always called her One Nut. So the One Nut, yeah. But the idea is actually what are you leaving in reserve, and why would you leave anything in reserve? If this is it, and this is your life, what are you holding on to? What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Go for it. Go take that meeting. Go to that BeCall thing, or make that phone call. What have you got to lose?
And it's that came out when we first met.
That sense of urgency. Like, do it now.
Yes, because otherwise the opportunity might not arise again, or you'll lose it. And I think I can't remember where I heard it, but yeah, it's about creating your own luck, and you do that through creating your own opportunities, and you do that by being open and
taking action. Because if you hadn't turned up, we wouldn't be here today. I bet if you'd have missed that meeting, it would have been because there was no relationship, there was no ongoing So what else struck you about? So
I was just going to say, in that very first meeting, there was also Jerry turned up. He's not always there every month.
Yes.
He's there most months. So that was a connection. And then Angela at the end of the meeting said, "Well, I think the genius slot encouraged people to think about what they'd always dreamed about."
Yes.
I think Dave
Jerry
Neese
talked
was
about
doing-
his orchard. That was it. That one.
No,
he didn't talk
No.
about it that day.
No.
He was there.
But I think Dave Neese might have done an update or a genius slot and talk about dreams. And Angela said, "I've always had a dream. I'd like to have my
I see.
own." What was it she wanted?
A temporary building that she could afford, and I think it needed to be demountable.
Yes.
I think that was the
Yeah,
idea.
she wanted to be able to take it around.
Take it around.
And we went,
Yes.
"Well, I heard that before. That just came out of the blue." And it was
Demountable
and I think
home.
you kind of pushed her a little bit on, come on, tell us, what is your...
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I can't possibly say it. And then
yeah.
you told her, and we went, hang on, there's an architect in the room.
I think that's the real part of what I'm hearing collaborators saying is you're going to get challenged. You open your mouth, someone's going to go, hold on a minute, that's your dream.
Yes.
Say it all, get it out. Now it's out, then the people
What are you gonna do
hold
about
you
it?
to it or support you with it or give you some, you know.
Stuart said that he loves coming to the meetings, he said, because there's a little bit of fear that's always going on because someone's going to say, wait, what about that?
Yeah.
And in fact, at the last meeting, Beju did it, didn't he, to various people. It's
Yes.
like, I'm calling you on that, I'm calling you on that.
Yeah,
And we thought about it, but we hadn't said it, you
Yeah.
know, and it was good for him that the community are holding everyone accountable to each other.
Yes.
And that's, so as Stuart said at the London meeting, he said, I sit on the edge of my chair, because he said, I'm loving it, but I'm also a bit scared.
Yeah.
Just what's going to happen, what am I going to be called to be present to?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and that's when, as Angela would say, that's when you can be the best me that you can be, because you have an opportunity to go, right, okay, I'm going to be brave. And sometimes it takes a bit of being brave, but if you sit at home on your own, you're sitting at home on
Do you
your
know
own.
the one thing that people say to me, I hear quite often, well, I had that idea, because when did you have one? 1963, you know, like, so you had an idea
Yeah.
but did nothing with
Yeah.
it. You know, so the thing we're encouraging people is to not just have, and when we look at the idea part of, and we use this in terms of collaboration, but if you think about it, so in any conceptual idea starts off at the most embryonic stage, and we say sperm and egg. You know, when those two come together, you've got an inception or conception of an idea. But then what do? You walk away and leave it? It will just, it won't amount to anything. But actually when your idea then takes roots in other people and they go, well, hold on a minute, I think that's, if you put that over there and I, you know, I've got my mate John, he could help you with that. And then suddenly, this thing's off. I mean, and one thing that we constantly, you know, these podcasters we've reminded people many times is the journey of possibility. What's possible once you start opening your mouth and your heart and connecting with other people. So for us, say with me and Gill, we wouldn't be sitting here and building this community if we didn't stand for that embryonic, you know, little green shoot turning into something. You know, and has it been easy? No. Did it happen overnight? No. But maybe, you know, maybe 5, 10, 15 years or whatever, we have a global presence in BeCollaboration and creating a platform and a language of collaboration and a context of collaboration. That, I feel, is why we're doing all this, is that we make that contribution to the planet, to the fellow...
Because this is something that we stand by,
Yes.
that is us, that is, we're nailing our colours to the mast, and this is what we believe in. So imagine 4 years ago if we'd gone, no. There was always going to be that little part of you, what if?
Well, so hold on, how comes we haven't fallen out yet?
Oh, we have. The difference
I think
is,
that's why we haven't fallen out yet, I realise.
no, we haven't fallen out as in I'm not talking to you and I'm going off in a huff or anything like that. We have disagreed a million times, but we stand by each other.
A million, Jill?
Sorry, I'm prone to
Twice,
exaggeration.
maybe? I told you a million times, don't exaggerate.
Yeah. I can't even remember, so they're not that, you know, in my head. I can't remember. We have disagreed about different things, but we are committed to finding a solution and moving forward.
So what I'm hearing, what you're saying is that we're aligned.
Yeah.
How we eventually affect that or implement something, we may not be see something, and but I think that's the art of collaboration. So there's 3 of us here. We've got this challenge or this opportunity. Your views from here, and you see all the benefits and the downsides here. My view here, Jill, your views over here. Obviously, you can't reconcile them and make them all one view.
No.
But what you do is by challenging each other and developing the context and the language of collaboration allows you to pull through the most optimum way as it's seen at that time to fulfill on what you're committed to. Now,
And it might not even be the ideal scenario, eventually, but if you can't see anything else, it's something that's moving it forward. So long as you're propelling it forward, then sometimes something better comes along at a later stage. But if you think there might be introverts, there might be extroverts, we're all judged by our past. We all kind of bring some of that baggage into the table, and it could be so easy to go, no, that's wrong, you're wrong, I'm not doing it that way, I'm right and you're wrong. And it kind of stops anything moving forward. But with collaboration, it's like, well, I don't agree with that, but tell me some more. I don't
also, I think what I've noticed in our relationship is the ability to challenge each other with a view to challenge the idea, not the person. Yeah. So you want to do this journal. Why are you bothering? How's that going to work? Well, okay, the reason I'm going to do it is because the thing is, the reality is, it may not work. So if I don't challenge it, and I'm using this as an example, right? But if we don't challenge it now before you put in, how many hours? Say 40 hours for 20 hours? Oh, I have loads of time on it. So let's say 40 hours to produce, because it's not just the doing it; it's the the conceptualising it.
Yeah.
And if I don't challenge you in it, and as something that's worthy doing, it's going to make a difference. And it doesn't make a difference, so we may as well not have done it. We don't want to just do it for the learning. No. We want to do things that actually that worked, right, that didn't work. So imagine if you didn't challenge that at the beginning, and having that ability to challenge each other in line with the commitment, I think is really strong part.
And also the definition of what works. Is it working because it's making us money? No. Is it working because we like it and it looks pretty? No. If it works, it's working because it's giving value to the community. So there's no other reason for doing it apart from giving value to the community. So if they don't buy into it and they don't get it, it's going to be no value
regardless
to anybody.
Of how good an idea it was or wasn't.
Yeah.
So isn't there something about you right here just sitting watching? Yeah. You just chill out. I'll
write down their ideas and I'll bring them in later.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
Oh no.
For the joke, I went for that. But this idea of that something is forward in the intention is really important part of collaborating. Rather than we do it this way and because I'm the expert.
Which is why we don't fall out, because we've always got the bigger picture. It's for the benefit of BeCollaboration. So even if there's something you want to do or I want to, it's like, let's find a way forward because we're doing it for other people, not for ourselves.
But don't you sometimes also, that if you'd have asked me about this at the beginning, I probably would have said don't do it. I think initial thought. But then you kind of carried on. No, I don't certainly nagged me. I think you made it more of a clear why you think it would make a difference, and then I kind of pretty much let you go. I felt I made a bit of a contribution, but the thing was, it was your expression.
Yes.
And it wasn't about. It's about allowing other people to run with their wisdom, but again take on board. Other people's input while you're moving forward.
So another
otherwise you just do what you always do.
Yeah, well this is it. I wasn't doing what I've always done because this isn't my known thing. This isn't what I'm out there for. I'm not known for writing journals, and so it was a learning curve for me to go through it as well. And if I hadn't had your respect for what I was doing, your agreement for what I was doing, it would have been much harder, and I'd be proving myself, and it would have been. But I didn't have to do that. It's like somebody else has good ideas, somebody else has good ideas, somebody else gave me some input, somebody else gave me some ideas, and it all again it was a collaboration. You never do these things on your own. But again, the purpose was how do we make the boat go faster? That's the whole thing. What we're going to do for the community to help the community to see the value in why they're here. If they see the value in why they're here, they're going to share that story with other people. But this is a format for them to record it. So it's kind of like that works for me. This is supporting them. Plus, if they love it, they're going to tell people about it, and it's a win-win. Which again goes back to the core values, doesn't it? It's got to be a win-win-win-win. And that's what I was kind of working towards. But going back to our original thing, the collaboration thing, to me, you don't have to have disagreements and you have disagreements, but you don't have to have fallings out, because if you fall out, it's like raising your voice in an argument. The minute you raise your voice, you lost your argument.
Do you think sometimes as human beings we know we'd rather be right?
Yeah.
We're so hooked on being right.
Yeah.
Or sometimes
it's the principle of the thing.
Yeah, You want to be right and you want to be correct. There's difference.
And proven to be right.
Yeah, proven
and seen
to be right.
And
accurate, if you like.
Yeah.
But there's something about what are you willing to give up for the spirit of collaboration, in the collaboration, is what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up that someone else could excel in some area that you immediately don't see as an advantage, but also leaving enough rope for other people to experiment and explore without giving it that directive, I know this sounds a little bit weird, but it's like, it's not overly controlling the outcome, but committed to the intention. And one of the things we talked about today is intentionality and synchronicity. So I think when those two things come together, it kind of becomes magical. Like it all kind of starts to happen. Like meeting someone in a pub, inviting them to a meeting, they sign up, they become a member, and we're starting to do stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it felt really easy. It wasn't like any hard work, but a huge amount of intention. So for me, what I've been really practicing is that everything I need, everything that's going to forward my projects and my mission will turn up as and when it's needed. In fact, I'm quoting, not quoting, but I'm kind of, you know, if you look at the work of Abraham Hicks and, you know, this whole idea of law of attraction, I don't know if you've ventured into
what
this.
you put out,
yeah,
you get back.
Well, not just what you put out, but it's something that they talk about, like, you know, if your car breaks down, the mechanic will just drive by at the same time and go, oh, your car's broken down, I can help you with that. You know, it's almost like your solutions turn up around about the same time as your problems do. When you're on that high level of intention. Now, I get that that's a little bit, took me quite a while to get that. But I'm fine. It takes
practice as well, doesn't
it? I think it takes being open enough. It's like, this idea I always say to Arzu, and not just Arzu, but I don't worry, there'll be a parking spot outside when we get there. And we get there, there's a parking spot outside. Maybe how did it?
Don't
and I don't want to get arrogant about it, like, would you, hey, it's the Fonzie stuff. But it's actually the right people, the right opportunities, all this synchronicity will turn up with the intentionality. It's like, how could it not? Anything more to say about that?
I think when you said things are easy and it happens and it's easy, I think sometimes the hard work that we put in, so for example, if we didn't have a community for Giles to come and have a meeting, he wouldn't, do you know what I mean? It's
so
like,
there is hard work as well.
Yeah, there is hard work in there, but when it's done for a good purpose, a good reason, and why we're putting it all together, it's not hard work.
Yeah.
A lot's been done, but it wasn't hard work.
I would like to just differentiate. I think there's work that takes something, because that took something, but then there's the joy of doing something that's really important to you. I think hard work for me is doing something I don't like, I don't value, I don't want to be doing.
It's like when you ask me to fill in a spreadsheet, I'm like,
I mean, there's that kind of. I think there's different types of what you could call hard work. Is actually that's almost a gift to you to have actually created that. It's like being, you know, the Be Inspired program, a lot of hard work, but also your art, and I can get why it's an expression. Yeah. Cool. Is there any? I'm just kind of going to ask you a question. Is there any question about BeCollaboration, the community, or anything that you kind of had a thought about that you've never dared ask? And I'm going live here. Is there anything that you would ask us that, you know, because we are the guys. No, but seriously, is there any question or you had a thought about, you know?
Yeah, but no, but.
Well, I think this has been your project. It's been something that you have both come together and worked on and created this. And from what I understand, it's about giving the opportunities and a forum for other people to create their projects, the kind of things that they're passionate about, giving them the reasons to be passionate, or the opportunity to turn that passion into something and their own projects. I can't remember who it was, but on Friday somebody gave a speech, and they're having a presentation in September. And it's about the ideas workshop, the sort
open
of
space.
The open space.
Yes, that was Colin Newlin.
That's it, Colin Newlin. Apologies for not remembering your name, Colin. But the reason for that is to table ideas and to see how an idea can progress and turn into a project. And I think that's what I think I'd like to see more examples of where there have been other people coming together and you can visibly say, oh, well, that project wouldn't have happened if it hadn't have been for you guys producing or providing the forum or providing the project or doing the project that allows them to then do that. And that's, I think, there's a lot of opportunities that are coming out of BeCollaboration that I've seen so far. But I haven't personally, I'm sure there are many, but I haven't personally been engaged in a project that's gone anywhere yet. And I'd like to see how that might develop and see sort of that side of things.
Is there a question?
Is there a question? Well, yes, I suppose I suppose.
No, I don't mean. I just.
No, it's true. I think the question. I think that you almost answered it last time we were in that meeting when you said, "Well, we're not here to make those projects happen. We're here to allow the forum or allow those things to happen." And I just wondered, could you elaborate? My question is, could you elaborate on that so that people who might have a project in the back of their mind or an idea of how to collaborate with somebody else, how that might come forward?
I could answer that, do you want?
No, you go.
Okay. So when we first started, we really wanted projects. So we had this. You'll see it in some of the pages of the website. This kind of circle. What we called our community. Think of it like the planet Earth, and then you have these moons around it. Imagine 3D moons just orbiting the community, and those projects would be born of and supported by, nurtured, engaged or influenced by the culture and the values of the organisation. And off we'd get these 5 or 6 or 10 collaborators. They come together, create something amazing, and go off and make it happen. Yes. Now in the early days, Gill and I were part of a lot of those. And then we found that we were just way spread too thin.
Yes.
So whether it's the coaches group or Be Inspired, or I mean we could go on. There was a lot of other things that happened, and commercial opportunities and setting up myriad of things. But we found because BeCollaboration doesn't pay our wages, it doesn't at the moment. So we're not available to be part of all those projects because we've got our own commercial bandwidths and we've got our own families and all the things we have to do. And we found that when we pulled out, these things kind of didn't move on in the same way. So then we looked at, well, how do we create leaders? And I think around the time the accomplices started to, accomplices run the BeCollaboration meetings, and we call those people accomplices. We think it's funny. Other people change. How dare you call them accomplices? Like they're criminals.
It's offensive.
Yeah. Well, they kind of are criminals.
We want them to accomplish things. That's where it comes
it's about helping them to accomplish through collaboration.
Yes.
They're aiding and abetting accomplishments.
Yes.
And collaboration, right? So it's like, how do you be? It's a bit like being the bull. What they call the matador. You know, part of the matador's art is being there and not being there.
Yes.
So part of us is showing people the red fabric and going, here it's possible. And if you look at our logo, it's very red, very passionate, but then not be there as in we're the ones who are going to do it for you.
Yes.
So our job as, if you like, administrators of BeCollaboration is to create the space, to create the context, the authenticity, the community, and then support the community in doing its own things. And I think recently we've identified 4 main areas. So if someone wants to go off and do something, we could be, I think we've still got to formalise this language, but we could have a basic endorsement of that project. So you may go, I'm organising this architects forum, it's for people who are interested in buildings or architects or planners or builders and people who are interested, and I'm going to do it, would you promote it? And we go, yeah, we give a basic endorsement of what you're doing, and just put it out there and say, BeCollaboration endorses this project. We're not running it, we're not accountable for it, but we'll support you because you're a member and we're supporting you, right?
Yep.
And then the next level, I'd say, is, what did we call it? I can't remember what it was. I have to go back to my notes. Was powered by BeCollaboration. In other words, we're involved with it, and we are also, it's almost more of a JV, not quite JV, but it's something we are more than just going, this is a great idea, you should have a look at it, but we're involved with it, right?
It's more like in-house projects.
Yeah, and we're promoting them through BeCollaboration, and our name is with it. Then JV would be where we're actually doing something together, and then the final one would be a wholly owned, developed project by BeCollaboration, and it's sold by BeCollaboration or delivered by BeCollaboration, or presented by BeCollaboration, and we're fully, and whether collaborators would be involved with that, but it's a BeCollaboration production. I guess it's like when you see the credits of a film. You notice how many different organisations are involved with one film. Everything from funding, logistics, copyright, score, the distribution of the film, the promotion of the film. You know, it's incredible. And I think films, we used to use films as a good example. Yeah, a good example of collaboration, because you got all these left, right brain skill sets. You got the actors, the writers, the script, the set designers. The whole thing is just an amazing array of collaboration. And then you end up with this piece called a film. So different people and different organisations are involved with that project at different levels. You know, whether they distribute, whether they, whatever it is. So to us, BeCollaboration is a community of people, and the organisation will have relationships with projects at different levels, but we're not BeCollaboration.
I see. I see. I think I see.
No, because that's what people get confused, right? So at the beginning, we had this whole thing about, it's the Erkan Ali show, because I spent so much time in front of the room.
Yeah.
Slowly we've given more and more access to members.
Yes.
By the way, as far as I'm aware, very rare occasion does anyone get in front of the room at a BeColl meeting that isn't a member. There may be the odd occasion, but very rare.
Yeah.
But pretty much anyone in front of the room, they're members, educating and supporting, empowering members, sharing knowledge and all that. It's members doing it with members, right? So it's the community thing. But what we don't want BeCollaboration to be, and we've been clear about this, it's not either the Erkan or the Erkan and Ali and the Gill or the Gill Tiney show.
Yes.
So the three permutations, right? It's not her show, it's not my show, it's not our show.
Yes.
We are the custodians of the community.
Yes.
And that has a certain responsibility and accountability.
And this is where you talked about it being an idea, something bigger than yourselves, that you are guiding, you're allowing to come to fruition, but it's not you as people. You've almost taken your egos out of it, and you've allowed this to grow out of this.
And what's in its place is the context. So people turn up, and Jill, please add to this, is we feel that what we're creating is a space for people to step into.
Yes.
Like this room has certain colours and mood, and it's giving us a certain experience, is we want to create that palpable space where people can turn up and be authentically connected, open and curious to what's possible, learning, growing and contributing to others, and willing to take that journey, as opposed to you're a member, she's an accountant, you're whatever, you start and people confuse. And that's fine, I can get why they would, because that's the model that people understand, so when people come together in a group.
Yes. But
this is about community, it's about building each other and building something worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I have got out of every meeting I've been so far. There's been somebody who has stood up at some point and said, I'm used to be, or I am a little bit like this, and BeColl is allowing me to be this person. And you can see that come out of the people, so I can see now what it is that you're allowing people the forum and allowing people the space to be them, to be the best for themselves.
Of what they want. I mean, your first meeting with the Debs and Janine Davis Tutt, Janine used to come to meetings and wouldn't say a word, and Erkan would be like, and she's like, no.
Now, people hate me for it, but they love it.
Yeah.
But I also say, well, if you're here, you're going to get, don't turn up.
But she, when we used to say you'd be at the front of the room talking, she's like, no. And eventually I said to Debs, we've got to do something, and she went, okay. And I thought Debs was going to do it, but Debs managed to get Janine up as well, and the two of them together. That was so huge for me to see them up there, because all you could, I don't know about you, but all I got out of them was the passion for what they were doing.
Exactly, something bigger than themselves that they believe in, and then it comes out.
So therefore, their ego or whatever was stopping them from standing at the front of the room and talking out loud to a bunch of relative strangers disappeared.
Yes. Completely.
And I said to them, what you've just done there, you can do any presentation to any prospect or any potential client. Because that was amazing, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, that's...
Now isn't that, one of the things we talked about in the early days is the idea of infinite value. When you have a shift in perspective, a shift in your relationship with yourself, that's an empowering shift. Infinite value, the sign for infinite, that means that the value of that is not just in your lifetime, that's probably something that gets passed on to generations. Because, as a parent, and I wanted to go back to something, because we're all parents here, you're a very new parent, is one of the things Jill and I are very, I'm not speaking for you, but we care about the next generation, the one after that, we've got children. So people say to us, so why are you doing this? Well, because if this impacts the planet, our grandchildren and our children's whatever, we're impacting the human experience. And that's very much at the forefront of our thinking, that by organising this opportunity for people, is that we're not just helping you get another couple of architectural jobs, because you could do that somewhere else, to be honest, and that's fine, and you could still do that elsewhere. But actually, when you up your game, you go, that is possible for me. You know what? I can make a difference. I can step up. I can get in front of a room. All these things I couldn't do before, I can do. Hey, man, how can you not end up selling more architectural?
Yes,
because you've got.
You're a different person walking into a room to a potential client, and they're seeing this proud, guy that is so confident and has a self-belief. I think that's part of it, isn't it? If you can grow in your self-belief of, okay, well, he's done it, she's done it, and they've done it. Okay, I'll give it a go. And you're in a space that's pulling for your success. And that's why I think Debs and Janine were very happy to stand up there, because it's like, oh, it's just that lot. you know, but we were all willing them to be wonderful, and they were wonderful.
And they did a master class again.
They
Something
did.
they've probably never done before.
It's packed out.
And yes,
Fully, you know, loads of people around there. And I said, "Come on, time it, guys." And they were like, "Oh, yeah." When it finished.
So that's beautiful. So to me, that's infinite value. It's life impacting, life affirming, self actualising experience. And I know that's a lot of words in one sentence, but the thing is, you break it down, it's all of that, and then take your shot on the road, and then connect with an architect and a surveyor and a property developer and a funder, and suddenly you've got the magics of something really incredible. You know, I want to change the subject a bit, but stay in the conversation. We're not gonna drop you off at the bus stop quite yet. So this weekend, Jill and I are, because one of the things that we're committed to, individually and separately, is going on courses, reading materials, keeping ourselves at the forefront of what it is to create an organisation and develop an organisation. Because we don't have it all worked out, I promise you. And I came across a guy called Ian R. Crane a little while ago, and he runs a alternative view conference once a year, and this weekend is the number 8th one. There's some quite well-known activists, authors, people looking at how the world works and looking at more esoterically. A guy called Max Igan's going to be there. He's if you look him up, he's quite a well-known speaker and author. The lady that used to date Lee Harvey Oswald is going to be there. I've read her book. And another guy, I can't remember his name now, Tony, I can't remember, I knew I should have printed this out, but he wrote a book called Left in the Dark. And that book's been renamed the Brain of the Garden of Eden or something. It was renamed for the American market. But if you look up a book called Left in the Dark, I think his name's Tony Brown. I think, if I've got that wrong, I'm sorry. But the book was about how we've been conditioned into the left brain. And we talk a lot about how our left brain is highly conditioned. And there's a fantastic video by a lady called Gill Taylor on TED. If you haven't seen it, we use that in the...
We need to have a long list of all these.
We should put I keep saying I should go and put all these things in, but I never... So the idea is that our left brain leaves us very... it gives you your experience of your uniqueness and separation to the mass. It gives you, it's very detail orientated. The left brain is very, it's thinking forward and backwards. Yeah, it's very practical. A lot of, say, the professions are left brain. Like you'll probably use a lot of left brain stuff.
Those are creative in the vision of it, but actually the getting it done, doing the drawings is very left brain. Technical. Yeah, technical. Accountants, solicitors, kind of left brain.
Yes.
And you can kind of get a sense of the personality. So in our vision mission, it says we bring together talent and technical ability. What we're actually saying is right and left brain, and wrap it with visionary thinking. Because we are a species of a brain of two halves. And you could argue there's more than that going on, which it is, in my opinion. But the idea is the right brain is very creative, very expansive, very connected to the whole, very much part of the whole thing. So there's going to be some interesting people, and I've taken out 4 days. Jill's taken out 3 days, and the reason I took this conference on because it's a residential. It was a chance to, you go to conferences and people talk at the front of the room and there's maybe a book signing or whatever.
And you go home and then you go home. In life.
So one of the things that really interested me when I was hearing, there was an interview with Max Igan and Ian Crane. They were saying that this is a residential, so the speakers and the authors are going to be staying over. They'll get a chance to really sit down and chat with people and say, look, this is what we're doing. How can we elevate our thinking to be part of the solution and forward the human experience and raise that consciousness in a way that pulls us all forward together. So I'm really looking forward to the weekend, and I think it's really, I feel a bit guilty taking 4 days.
Like a luxury, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it is a beautiful venue.
It's got a spa.
It's got a spa and it's got a pool. But the idea of actually, I don't know exactly how many people will be there. I don't know it's 200, 300, 500. I think it's not that big an event, but the idea is being around other people and sharing ideas and meeting people and networking and learning, because it's going to be quite a filled inventory of tools.
I mean, normally you go to a conference and you've got your Friday night chill out, all day Saturday till about 6, 7 o'clock, all day Sunday till 6 o'clock, and then you maybe have a dinner in the evening and you go home.
Yes.
Where this is kind of the other way around. You have a dinner on the Friday and then it's up till 10, 11, isn't it? I think the last talk on the Saturday starts at 9. So it's like it's going to be full on all the way through, and all Monday till lunchtime, isn't it?
Yeah, Monday they're doing workshops as well, so I'm staying on for that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Monday night I'm coming back Tuesday.
Are you? Okay.
That's when you get your spa.
Yeah, I'll be like,
So-
I'm really
I'll go
pleased.
Friday for my.
So it's alternativeview.co.uk.
But thinking about it, over the last few years, you and I haven't done any learning apart from Roger Hamilton. I think one day, maybe 2
I
days.
can hardly call that learning.
It was an experience. It was going to find out what the other
I'm not
people
knocking
were.
it.
No. It was going to find out
Before,
what was going on. But we don't often do things together. Quite often it's like, oh, I've just done this, you should go and try it out.
We haven't done before.
No, so we've been ships that pass in the night, really. So, you know, you've done Landmark and you go, so I went and did Landmark, and then I've seen a conference, or you've gone to a conference. So this is quite unique for us to be able to hear something and then go, oh, what do you think of that? So that's, I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm making notes and going, that's ridiculous. Why did he say that? It's going to be quite...
Well, the other thing is Ian offered us a 5 minute, what do they call it?
pitch.
No, I don't think it's called pitch, I don't call it something else. Open mic. So we're getting 5 minutes each open mic. And I think you're going to share about BeCollaboration, I'm going to share about Be Inspired, just so I don't repeat. We probably will repeat a bit. But I'm looking forward to it. I think to do it in nice surroundings and be around other people. So the importance of getting out of your normal environment and go and be in a different environment where people don't know you, you're going to go and find out new things, you're going to meet new people. All that can be daunting for people who haven't done it before, but I'm really... I'm kind of like, I don't want to get too excited, I don't want it to feel like, this is work, I'm going to work. But I'm delighted to be here. It's like going to a BeCon meeting. It is work for us, but also come away, like last Friday, I came away, I was like absolutely buzzing. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. So there's that. Next meeting...
we've got one tomorrow in Surrey, and that is...
There's no point in mentioning that.
No, because you won't see
this
that.
won't be out much
Sorry,
tomorrow.
you're missing a really good meeting tomorrow in Surrey. But the next one's next Tuesday in London.
Which is the
23rd. And we've got Scott Campbell, who is apart from Erkan and myself, has been to the most BeCollaboration meetings. He's on his 53rd, I think. Coming
He's
up.
counting.
I know, it's good, isn't it? But also he wants to share, and he's never done this before. So if you've heard Scott talk before, this is a new talk that he's doing. He wants to share his journey within BeCollaboration and what he's done and what his goals were for BeCollaboration, but also what he identified as his need to be within BeCollaboration. He wanted to be the person that everybody knew who he was. So that's why he's been to so many meetings, but also how he actually makes it work for his business as well. So it isn't just about, it's a lovely feeling, he really works everything, and he's going to tell you his secret to success, which will be cool. And then I'm going to do the Genius slot.
Well, I've heard about your Genius slot.
Have you?
But I didn't see it. It's a new one, isn't it?
It's a new one, yeah. I like to try.
So what makes you think you're qualified to do a Genius slot?
It says it's written somewhere.
I'm gonna miss it, but I'll be there. I thought I'd still be in the spa.
Why would you miss it?
I'll be in the spa, you know.
So, you're going to be so chilled out, you'll sit there in the back of the room.
So what's your Genius?
Well, do I say it's a surprise?
Is it a surprise?
Well, I did it in Essex, and it went down very well over there. So it's about your being. And what do you think your being is, and what do other people think your being is? So, and do they actually match up? And is what you think your being is actually can be quite detrimental. So we did a little bit of swapping around and finding out what people thought of this person or this person, and they're like, no, that's not me at all. It's like, really? And then they would say, this is who I am, and they're like, no, that's not you. It's interesting to see what...
Was there any fights?
A couple of tears. But it's when you leave the room, what are people saying about you? What do you think they're saying about you? What do you want them to be saying?
Is there the old adage about, you know, what reputation is? It's what's left in the room when you walk out. You know, it's a quite nice way of thinking about it. And on the idea of being, I mean, we've had a number of collaborators involved in the Landmark Forum, which we're mentioning more and more now, mainly because of the transformational breakthrough side of it. And it is at the heart of our community is a lot of the principles of transformation. I mean, we live by them, we use them, and
we expect them. Every meeting, you should expect it. This is take it. Find it and take it.
So if you want to know more about Landmark Education, they do introductions and go and find out. But I don't know how much we should mention people's names when we talk about that, because I don't know if that needs to be public knowledge. But what I'm noticing in people that have gone away, and obviously I've been around, you know, for our viewers, so you're aware, is I did Landmark Forum in January '97, so over 20 years now. I was a program director. I've done the curriculum for living a number of times. I've done the advanced course probably 5, 6 times. So I'm a veteran. I've done 30, maybe more seminars. There's 20 years of involvement in that work. And the reason I'm involved in that work is it's very powerful, it's very concise, it's very effective, it cuts through. Just early on we was doing the exercise of just clearing ourselves, just getting the story out of the way, so you just go, I'm clear, present. These are the practices that I've learned over the years of being part of that. And also by being part of Landmark Education, I went off and did a lot of, I think one of the biggest things it gave me, and this isn't a share for Landmark so much, why we mention it, is after I was a program director there, seminar leader there for a period of time, when I left, I went off and explored so many other disciplines, because it gave me that way of being open to something new and distinguishing my view of something before I knew I had a view of something. Could be your prejudice or your prejudgment or your, all those.
Being aware of
that. Yeah. But notice, I just thought that's a load of rubbish what you just said, and then park that, and then listen anyway.
Yeah.
Because in that you may find something new that you would have missed because of your opinion or your view. And what I'm noticing is people are going away and doing the Landmark Forum and Advanced course now. Some of them have done that, and some of them have gone through. They're coming back and being far more open to what the community's about, and they're kind of getting, I get what you guys are really doing.
Well, like the pennies just dropped,
we've only been saying that since day one, but they're it's opening up. So I really see Landmark as a fantastic opportunity for people who want to take their own being to that next level.
And then it gives them tools to collaborate more effectively, doesn't it?
Yeah, because then you're noticing your mechanisms inside of. I think that goes back to why our collaborations work so well, because we would rather give up that reaction or that automation for what's possible.
Yeah.
So there's
no point being an upset.
There's a real hat nod to Landmark's work in the title, even to just kind of acknowledge the contribution that.
So I think if you want to find out a little bit more about it, if you're a member of BeCollaboration, then go onto the Facebook group for the members, and quite a few of the guys that have gone through Landmark recently have put comments and what it means to them, and you can just scroll down and see some of their comments, and then by all means get in touch, direct message and find out a little bit more. It's fascinating to see the changes that have happened in them. We have seen massive changes, and it's just quite humbling, isn't it, to see how it's empowered them and impacted them. And how they want to come back to the community and bring it back with all their newfound knowledge. Yeah.
And then also the skills it gives people that they don't have. On primary view of look at someone like Giles, right? Articulate, lovely, intelligent, and cares and passionate about what we're doing. But you can also see there's limits in the conversation, even though earlier when you used to say about I'll try and do something, I went, hold on, it's that language, it's that invisible stuff that you don't know you're doing, and when it's pointed out to you, you go, hold on a minute, I say that word a lot, or I say maybe a lot, I say we'll see a lot, or you'll find your language creates your experience of the world and your effectiveness and your ability to bring things to fruition. And if we don't stand for each other and catch each, because that's the thing, isn't it? If you catch yourself out all the time, great. I mean, you probably have to be some kind of human being, but it's great when someone you trust and respect says, "Hold on a minute, did you realise what you just said?" Thanks for that. Because it slips out, and I think that's a really important part. So we've covered our weekend, and we'll come back on. I think what I'd like to do is some live updates from AV8 or Alternative View 8.
Yeah.
Maybe if we could do a couple of interviews while we're there, maybe interview a few people while we're there if we get a chance. So we'll keep you updated on that. I've still not put a date in the diary for Be Inspired, Gill.
Oh no! Well, it's in July, isn't it?
It's going to be in July. I'm really excited to do another one. I haven't done one for a little while now. So watch out for the Be Inspired. In this Be Inspired program, we look at, if you like, the personal transformational experience in relationship to the macro stuff. So think of macro like gravity. You can't escape it. It's there all the time. And we look at things like the education system, the money system. We look at media as three main barriers to human beings developing and organising themselves and operating from their sense of genius and purpose. I think I want to make some modifications of that. I've also started to think about Resilient, the follow-on, which
and we have to still build, probably over the summer, how to collaborate as well.
Yeah. the do of just a bit more work.
I just want to give everyone a heads up. 23rd of September. Please put that date in your diaries because that's when we're going to have the open space opportunity at the London BeCollaboration meeting. Colin Newlin, Mark Neild, and Andrew Horder are organising that and going to orchestrate it. And that's when anyone that's got an opportunity for a project or an idea or something to consider or just a thought, we can then explore. So it's the whole meeting is going to be taken over by that. So I'm quite excited to see what people come up with.
It's like letting the lunatics loose.
Yeah, and that's why I want all the lunatics to come, because I don't want people to go, oh, this is my London meeting, I'm going to go to London meeting. I know you might go to an Essex meeting or you might go to a Surrey meeting. I want everybody to come to the London meeting as well, not instead of, but as well as your other meetings.
But we'll keep reminding people about the 23rd, because I think that's really great. And I think it's there is a concept we've talked about quite a lot, this idea of teal self-organising organisations where they don't have a, if you like, a master, top of the guy leader. They have what we call servant leaders who are part of. It's more circular. We're all part of it together, moving something forward and let more agile kind of.
Based on the Spiral Dynamics by Don Beck.
Don Beck and Claire Graves. Claire Graves' work. If you've not looked into that. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in that, I'll lend you the audios. I've got those. You can.
Brilliant.
Okay, so anything else we want to discuss before we move on? Is there anything else you'd like to say? Giles, how was your first podcast with us been so far? We've got 2 hours more to go.
Well, I told you I've had a look through the other ones, and
this is the best one so far.
This is the best one so far. Yeah, this is it's. I think the meetings are exhilarating and give you a lot of freedom. This is interesting. It's very interesting. It's fun. Yeah.
Isn't that what you set out to achieve?
It is actually. I need you to say that about me, not me saying that.
And you didn't even try.
It could have been a bit more fun.
Oh, it could have been fun, yeah.
Great. So great. So we wish you all the best. If people want to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Soane Architecture is the name of the company.
Can you spell that?
Soane, Soane. And I'm architect in Hertford. Hopefully I'm on Google Maps now. Website's almost there, thank you. And Giles Shorter, 077 377.
0845, you know. Okay, great. So I really appreciate you being here. Anything for you, Jill, before we kind of sum up?
No, I think it was lovely. I think it was really interesting to hear your questions and your thoughts about BeCollaboration. I love the fact that you spotted and identified synchronicity that goes on, because I often see it going around and I'm like, wow. And I thought I was the only one that noticed it. So it's lovely to see that as somebody who's new coming in, you've kind of gone, oh, that's interesting. That's happened as well. And I also noticed that all three of us were sitting there like this. It's like, body language and everything. Yeah. We were kind of just in sync with each other. It's interesting. So come back anytime.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Anyone you want to invite, or any topics that you want to talk about, anything controversial that you want to get stuck into?
Yeah, we
can do that too.
Okay.
I think we've gone very light on you today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Next time. Gloves off.
Don't put him on.
And if someone's sitting here watching this and they kind of find out a bit more about Journey of Possibility and BeCollaboration, what would you say to them about
act? Do something. It was only by going online and just being intrigued by what you were saying within that 5 minutes of meeting you that something actually happened. And then coming along to the meeting was an action, and it's only an opportunity if you make it.
Yeah. So somewhere online you've got to do something.
Yes.
Yeah. So well, there you go. That's a good bit of advice. So if you're intrigued or curious about what goes on at BeCollaboration, this idea of Journey of Possibility, and what it is to be part of a collaborative community, really only one way you can find out is come and visit one of our meetings. Be our guest.
BeCollaboration.com/meetings, and you'll see all the list of all the different meetings in and around London. We'd love to see you there. Just register. It doesn't cost anything to come along, be our guest. We'd love to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.